Hello, everyone out there. I am today privileged to interview Joel Montague from most recently Waitress, but it says on my list that you've also been in School of Rock. Is that right? Falsettos.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I
Good.
saw on your, I don't know if it was your Twitter or something, you during School of Rock was it musical little sections, little snippets?
You're on about Jerry and Kevin's musical interludes with
That's it.
Nadeem
I forgot the name.
Crow. Yeah, yeah. Me and Nadeem. Well, I can be honest. I've left the show. Me and Nadeem just used to get really bored because what was hard about School of Rock when you weren't playing Dewey was the show was quite long when you were an adult because you pretty much did a little bit, came off, did a little bit, came off, did a little bit, and we used to have like about a 20-minute break in the first half. And Nadeem's a really good piano player, but we kind of came up that we do this sort of skit of the gay dad singing musical theatre songs or singing homages to stuff. And then we kind of said, wouldn't it be funny if we did it in like a stairwell with just a Casio keyboard. And
You did
that's
it in
how
full character, didn't you?
yeah, we did it in character. We were in our wig. I was in my wig and everything. Yeah, so we kind of just did that, really. Yeah, it was just fun.
But I went through them and I was watching them. I was like, "This is amazing! I've never seen this before."
We did 50 altogether. I think we used to aim to do like one. Yeah, we did one a week. We did one a week, sometimes two a week, but we did one a week because, and then our last one was just sort of us, really. But funnily enough, Nadeem spoke to me last week and he said during isolation we should try and bring it back. So we're going to try and find a way of bringing it back, which is just hard because of the delay and when you do stuff. So we're going to try and make it work, we think. We'll find a way.
Cool. So you've just kind of finished Waitress. Well, you have, but not through as much
Well,
choice as you
yeah,
have.
we sort of sadly finished Waitress without knowing that we were finishing. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the best job I've done. My most favourite job, and my other favourite job was probably You're in Town when I did You're in Town about 4 or 5 years back. But it was just a great experience, and Ogie was just a brilliant character to play. So yeah, it was just brilliant, Tom. It was just the best time.
So I saw you on Waitress, and I was like, "This is fantastic." I've never seen because it was my first proper musical, and I've loved musical theatre for so long now that I was like,
Yeah,
"Okay." So I surprised my girlfriend. I took her to see it because Sarah Bareilles is her favourite in the world, and
yeah.
I watched it, and I was like, "This is amazing. One day I'm going to be in musicals. I hopefully will if I work hard enough." So who knows? So
Mate, you got to
how,
keep going. Absolutely. Absolutely. Keep the
yeah,
dream.
you gave me some advice. Can you remember, like, I asked you what was one tip for an inspiring musical theatre?
I don't know whether I said something really, really generic like be yourself, but the one thing I've always said to people about wanting to aspire to be an actor is you have to try and do everything you can to still be happy. Because I think that's really hard. It's very hard in a business that's built on rejection, Tom, because every day, in one way or another, you are kind of told no. You're too tall, you're too small, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're not the right look, you're not this, your voice isn't this quality. Like there's so many things. And it's kind of, you can feel like you're a punch bag. Do you know what I mean? So I always think anyone that's wanting to be an aspiring actor, the most important thing to do is to always try and do things that make you happy, aside from acting, because then whether it's teaching, whether it's art, whether it's anything academic, whatever it may be, it just keeps you a little bit grounded, and it reminds you that not everything in the world is all about theatre or film or TV or being famous, or do you know what I mean? It just makes you
Yeah.
realise that. I can't remember the exact words I said to you, but you obviously, I'm guessing you can. So
It was
what did I
sort of the same as
say?
that. Yeah, you said the be happy, the make sure you're being happy.
Yeah, being happy, I think, is the important thing. But it's taken me a long time to understand that. A long time, because you strive for the goal. You always strive for like the next role or the next part. Because I started off as a swing. I was a swing on Billy Elliot as my first job. So I kind of started at what is seen as someone that's off stage, but actually in terms of the shows, the swings are the most important people in that building. They're the people that keep that show running. And so do the covers, but it's just, yeah, I think swings are very, very underrated in the West End. On Broadway, they're very highly rated, and they're paid a lot of money. Whereas in the West End, they're not as much, and I feel like that's something that should definitely get noticed a lot more.
So you said that one of the ways you can stay happy is by teaching, and I've seen that on your Instagram you've been teaching, is it tap recently?
Yeah, I'm a tapper. Like, well, that was my sort of first love, really. My mum and my auntie have a dancing school. That's how I trained at first before I went to Guildford. And when I was a kid, I had three inspirations when I was a kid to be a dancer. One was Fred Astaire, one was Gene Kelly, and the other one was Michael Jackson. So, excuse me, if you can take that as a mix, I was always very, very into tap dancing. And I naturally had flat feet, so it helped me. So my ballet was awful, but my tap was pretty good. And yeah, I mean, I've got to use it a bit. Obviously, I used it in Billy. I used it a lot in Funny Girl. When I did Funny Girl, I got to tap a bit because the lovely Lynn Page, who's a choreographer, noticed that I was a bit of a bigger guy. I was a different shape, and I could dance. So hopefully, there's a couple more parts maybe in the next few years that might let me do that again. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, and the thing about tap, I think you might see where I'm going with this when I say this, but the thing about tap is you need special shoes, don't you?
Well, yeah. You need tap shoes. I have they're actually called K360s. They're a Capezio tap, and they cost quite a lot of money. But anyone that wants to learn how to tap, just get a simple pair of tap shoes and try and tap away. Really, that's the best advice I can give. It's not really great advice. I'm not going to lie, but
So, shoes.
Shoes.
I saw on your Instagram that you have.
I don't know about my shoes. Yeah, I have so many shoes. So many shoes. Far too many. I don't need them all, but I can't say goodbye to them. They're all lovely shoes, lovely pairs of shoes. Yeah, I think I've got something like 90 odd pairs of shoes, which is just ridiculous. But anyone that knows me, especially from college days, I've got my best mate Bradley Jaden, who's in Les Mis at the moment. He knows me more than anyone, and he knows I'm a shoe fanatic. Shoes my weakness, absolute weakness. Mainly trainers though, actually. Not just shoes, it's mainly trainers. I'm a trainer freak.
Because there was lines and lines, and you've got like drawers, haven't you? Like under your wardrobe.
Yeah, just too many, mate. Too many.
How did that start? Did you just one day just be like, these are nice shoes, and then suddenly go,
oh, dude, like, honestly, this has been years. I just love trainers. I love trainers. I love them. I don't know why. I think it's funny, if I was ever to turn back the clock, or if I ever did get, remotely famous, I would try and do my own trainer line. I think I just love trainers. I love them. So, yeah. Yeah, that's it, really. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't really hear many musical theatre people that have their own trainer line. Do you know what I mean? Many actors that kind of come out and go, oh, I'm going to do this. So, but, we'll try.
Oh, that would make it even more unique. So it would work, maybe.
Absolutely. Excuse me. Absolutely.
I would like to talk about Ogie. So,
Ogie?
Yeah. When you got the part, what was going through your head?
Well, there's a bit of a circle of a story to this. So I did a show before Waitress called Falsettos. And I don't know whether loads of people know this, but basically, Matt Cardle was supposed to take the part of Mendel and had to leave the show due to other commitments, but left the show 2 weeks into rehearsals. So they only had 4 weeks of rehearsals. And I was going on holiday with my mum's dancing school to Florida, because every couple of years, my mum's dancing school goes and dances in Walt Disney World. It's just sort of a thing that our dancing school does, and it's pretty cool, and the kids love it. And we got on, so I woke up on the 9th of August, which was the day we were leaving, got on the bus, Got there. It was Thomas Cook flights. It was a nightmare. It got delayed. It was an absolute fail. We finally got on the plane, and then we started to fly, and we were 2 hours out. And then an announcement came on the intercom, and the pilot said we had to turn around because there was something wrong with the plane. So we turned back around, and we are literally 20 minutes above Manchester. And my phone starts going ping, 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 ping. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? I see a text from my agent. I see a text from Tara Wilkinson, who was the director, who was a good friend of mine. I finally get to ground. I ring my agent, and my agent basically said, Matt's had to leave the show. Tara wants you to come in and play Mendel. So I'm like, what? And I'm literally sat on the plane. I'm sat on the plane, right? So long story short, the flight gets cancelled and gets taken to the next day. So I basically turned to my mum and I'm just like, look, obviously it's a sign. I've got to do it. So I actually get my holiday stuff, get on a train from Manchester, go down to London and start rehearsals for falsettos the next day. So I had that whirlwind of an experience and then all the way through falsettos. And then I booked to go back to Florida straight after falsettos. I had the Waitress audition on the Tuesday, and this was 3 weeks before I closed falsettos, and I found out the following Wednesday that I got it. So I had to then cancel again my other holiday. But that was a quick turnaround. I think I found it on the Wednesday. I went into rehearsals on the Friday, and then 2 weeks. I doubled up for a week on falsettos. I had a week off falsettos, so it was just Waitress rehearsals, and then we opened. So it was non-stop for me, really, which is wonderful as an actor, but is also quite tiring.
I can imagine it being quite tiring.
Yeah, that's why I think my body went on complete shutdown when we finished.
It was like, thank you, I'm free.
It was like, you just went, my body went. So yeah, when I got it, I was so excited. I was just so excited because I'd seen the show and I knew Ogie, I knew the part, and I was just excited to work with the, the creative team of Alex and Leanne and Kat Woolley, and they're amazing. And then I got to work on stage with my buddy David Hunter, who I'd not worked with for a while, and just wonderful people. Sandra Marvin, Lucy Jones, Hannah Toynton, and then obviously later on Sarah, Gavin, Evie. Just really lovely people. Really lovely people. Marisha, shouldn't forget Marisha. She killed me. Yeah.
So, since you finished Waitress, have you realised that have you picked up anything from Ogie?
Have I picked up anything from Ogie? Do you know what? Funnily enough, cleaning my room, that I need to be more of a clean freak. My room is an absolute state, but it's not really a state in the sense I leave it in a state. It's just a state because on and off for 12 years, I've lived in this room and from London. So this room's just acquired all the stuff that London hasn't. But yeah, Ogie, the one thing I got from Ogie was confidence. He has, when he knew something was right, he followed through with it. And I think, I hope one day that I'm in a relationship with a girl that's just like him and Dawn, have their own little world, whatever that may be. But the irony of Waitresses is that Dawn and Ogie is the most happiest relationship out of all three of them. And I remember me and Hannah and me and Evie, we just loved telling that story, that they were the happiest couple, because they were just little freaks. They're into the same thing. They, just loved it. And obviously that scene with the chair and the burger bar, and it's just hysterical. Like, it's just hysterical, and no one expects it. So we always loved doing that moment because the audience just used to fall about, which was great.
The whole of I've seen your songs must be so hard to perform because you're running around and
never. Do you know what? It's funny enough. never getting rid of me was when we set it. I was like, oh Jesus, this is a bit of work. And then and I've always sort of credited myself as being quite a physical actor, really, especially for a bigger guy. Because I think I'm a dance background, I can allow myself to be physical when I do stuff. And I kind of went into it, and it was like a bit of a marathon. And Matt Rowland, lovely Matt Rowland, who was one of our swings on the show, he also covered Ogie. And he did Never Getting Rid in a rehearsal the first time. And he came up to my dressing room, I think before the half, and he just said, like, babe, how do you do that number? And I was like, I don't know. I just do it now because it's in my body. But what was great for Matt is a very, very talented boy and what I call a very fit dancer. And for him to say that, I was like, right, okay, there must be some sort of decent fitness that I've got to do that number. But yeah, Never Getting Rid was a lot of running around. A lot. It was just a lot. Props, you name it. It had everything. Opera, prancing around like an absolute buffoon. It had everything. So I do miss it. I do miss that number a lot.
I think one thing I've always wanted to know is that right at the end of the song, you jump over a chair and land on it. Was that terrifying when the first time you did it? Because I'd find that terrifying.
Oh my God, Tom, it was the most scary thing in the world at first. Because I was like, because naturally what you do is when you jump over it, you think you're just going to land on the table. And you think all the stuff's going to go. So yeah, it was scary. And I didn't miss it. But there was one show, weirdly enough, and our director, Diane Powless, came over for an afternoon and basically, rightly so, noted the hell out of my performance, which is what I expect from someone of her stature. And they were great notes and they were really, really interesting and really good to work with. But I put the flowers on the chair that I normally jump over and sit on, and I'd never done that before. But I think that night, just because it was like, there was a lot of things going on, I did the same thing. I did it in the rehearsal. Leanne, who was our resident choreographer, Leanne Pinder, told me, she went, I forgot to tell you did that today. And I was like, I just didn't even realise. I just did it. And so the one time I did jump over the chair, and then I was kind of like just sitting in a second, hovering over these flowers, because it would just look weird. And then people just started looking at me with genuine hysterics as if to go, what the hell are you doing? And I was like, yeah, correct. What am I doing? No one knows.
But you can get away with it as Ogie though, can't you? It's a bit...
Well, yeah, you can get away with quite a bit, really. You can get away with quite a bit.
What's the craziest thing that's happened to you on stage?
I mean, to be honest, nothing major, because Ogie's not on stage that much. Compared to the girls, he's not on stage enough. I definitely think quite a few situations used to happen between Sarah and Gavin. They used to get the giggles quite a lot, which was quite funny. Not that I should say that, but they won't care, I don't think. Marisha always used to make me laugh at some point. She'd always make me giggle. But then, I don't know, I think I'll tell you one thing that did happen, actually. Olivia Moore was on for Dawn, and I'd not done it with Olivia before. And we ended up doing that chair scene. I call it a Bad Idea Reprise, basically where we all essentially have sex in 3 different places. Sorry to ruin it, viewers, if you've not seen it, but go see it on tour. Me and Liv had never done it before, and Liv just started laughing through the whole thing. We were just laughing because you just can't, because it's the most ridiculous thing in the world that you're doing. You can't even sort of comprehend that you're doing it in front of 1,200 people sometimes, because it's done in a comedy fashion. It's not even done as if it's serious, although you're playing it seriously. It's just one of the most hysterical things. And I remember day 3 of Waitress rehearsals, Leanne Pinder was doing it with me, and then Hannah was, and it was just like, our job is so crazy that you go, right, and now we've just got to simulate sex on a chair. Welcome. It's like, I don't even know where you live. Do you know what I mean? Don't even know your favourite colour. It's stuff like that. But that's just our world. It's just, that element of trust and respect that you give each other. So, yeah.
I was watching the show and I was like, my grandma would like this. Got to that scene and I was like, no, she would not.
Yeah, that seems a bit of a shocker. But I think it's my favourite bit of the show. Every time I saw it, or every time I was doing it, it was just that reaction. That audience reaction you just couldn't beat, because people just did not expect it. So it's great.
Another question I have.
Yeah.
If you could sing any other song from the musical, which one would be your go-to one?
From any other musical?
No, any other songs from Waitress.
From Waitress?
Yeah.
Waitress. Oh, my favourite song is What Bacon Can Do.
That is a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, What Bacon Can Do. I don't know why I loved it so much. I just did. And you know, I love a good, and I'm not an over riffer, but I love a good riff. And Lucy and Sarah used to put some beautiful riffs in there. Yeah, they smashed it. Like, they were brilliant. But What Bacon Can Do would probably be my favourite, I think.
Okay, that's a good one. I absolutely love every song from that musical. I think it's so well written. It's such a beautiful show, and just watching it is, anyone that hasn't seen it who's watching, definitely go and see it.
Absolutely. And you know, I'd also be interested. I don't know whether Sarah's going to do this, but I'd also be interested for her to like release an album of the songs that never got into Waitress. That would be really interesting, because I know a couple of the cast did some sort of sessions, and I think Stephen Leask, who was the original Cal, he did a Cal song that was cut from the show online. So it would be really interesting if there was anything that she did do like that. Because What Bacon Can Do was very different. I think in a live concert, What Bacon Can Do isn't kind of What Bacon Can Do. It's the same tune, but it's called like Door Number 2 or something like that. So yeah, it's worth, any Waitress fans, it's worth checking out, but they probably know it anyway. They probably know that more than I do.
So I think there is an album for Sarah. The songs I haven't.
Oh yes,
gotten.
Yes, there is.
But there was is that just Sarah doing it? I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, there's the cast recording, and then I think Sarah did like an album, songs from Waitress or something like that. I used to remember it because it was always at the stage door when people asked her to sign. So I think she did do one.
So I think there's 3 Waitress albums altogether.
Oh, is there?
There's Waitress OBC, the original Broadway cast. There's Waitress, all the Sarah Bareilles songs singing them, and then there is What's Not Inside, songs that didn't make it, all sung by Sarah.
I did not know this. I'm going to check that out.
So it's not like you've got, because you've got Jeremy Jordan singing Without a Believer, but on this one you've got Sarah Bareilles singing Without a Believer, Sarah Bareilles singing Door Number 2. All these demos didn't make it in.
Oh wow! I got to check that out then.
It's
I didn't know
amazing.
she did that.
Yeah,
well,
that's
bad on me. Oh, well,
I think it was in the last year or so, or just over a year. I'm not sure.
Oh, but that's awful. That's sorry, SB, if you're watching. Apologies, I didn't know that. Sorry.
Hello, Sarah Bareilles, if you're watching.
Yeah, if she's watching.
So yeah. All right, I've got a really random question, but I'm going to ask it. If you could be any Disney princess, which one would you be?
I see. I'm always. I mean, it's hard because my mum's favourite is Belle, but I'm old school. I think I'd go Snow White, but I'm not really. Anyone that knows me knows I'm a Disney fan. I'm obsessed with the Seven Dwarfs. Not dwarfs in general, just the Seven Dwarfs. I'm a big fan of Dopey. I always have been. I'm a huge Disney fan. I don't mind admitting it. You know. A guy in his 30s at 33 years old, but the fact is I can't help being a big kid. So yeah, I go old school. I go Snow White or probably Elsa, just because she can make things freeze, which I think is pretty cool. And
she's got those proper belting songs.
Oh, I mean, if we're going down the song route, then you've probably got to go with Elsa from Frozen.
Yeah, love Frozen.
Yeah, Frozen's great. So, yeah. Snow
White or Elsa?
Snow White or Elsa.
Talking about songs.
Yeah, like we're going the first princess to sort of like towards the last princess. So, yeah, let's go with that.
So, when you say that, did you say you started off, was it Billy Elliot that sort of started off?
That was my first job, yeah. That was my first job from college. And I was a swingo, and I was there for 2 years on Billy Elliot. Yeah.
So,
great.
Tell us more about that. How it.
I mean, it was probably the best experience for my career, really. You know, I was in a cast where it was full of blokes that are, well, sort of my age now. You know, 33 upwards. So it had a good 10, 15 years in the business. And that's sort of crazy, because I felt like I learned about 6 or 7 years worth within 2 years of being there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still partly regret the second year at Billy. I think I should have left because I think I was just too young, and I think I should have tried to have got another job. But then in hindsight, you know, I was there for the 5th birthday, which was amazing. One of my Billies was Tom Holland, who obviously is now Spider-Man. And another one was Dean Charles Chapman, who was in Game of Thrones, and he's in quite a few films. So those boys have done, not just those boys, but all the Billies and Michaels and stuff have done brilliantly since they left the show. So to kind of see those guys grow up in the industry has been amazing as well. Yeah, but it was an amazing experience, and I will always treasure what's known as roommate team, which was the boys' dressing room. But it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
So that started off your career, but before that, can you remember what was the first, like, were you in any of the shows before you started professionally?
Yeah, I remember going down to London, and I remember watching Fame. I remember watching Cats. And then I used to watch quite a lot of touring shows. I do remember watching Bombay Dreams when Bombay Dreams was in London. Yeah, just lots of touring productions I used to remember. But yeah, I mean, so many different things. I think the weird, crazy thing is that, like, you don't think that. I never thought I was good enough to be in the West End. I just thought I was, you know, I could dance and I could sing and I could act a bit. I never thought that I would be able to be doing this as a profession. But I also think there was something useful in that, Tom, because I didn't want it so much. It sort of made me relax within myself. So then when I went to audition for like Guildford and things, I wasn't putting pressure on myself. And so I think when I saw shows in London, it was just a nice, it's an enjoyable thing. I don't remember thinking I want to do that necessarily. That wasn't my first thought, if you know what I mean. But then obviously later on when I heard about Guildford and when I heard these things, but it's kind of was never just musicals. Originally, I actually wanted to be a film director. Yeah, I was obsessed with film, and I still am obsessed with film. Like, I love watching films, but I kind of think now I'd like to be more in front of the camera than behind the camera, I'd say. So, but we'll see, you know, who knows what can happen? No one knows whatever happens in this industry. It's crazy. So
yeah, maybe you'll get your own trainer range.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I could call them Ogies.
Okay. You have to get the right off whoever it is there.
Yeah. I could call them Ogies.
I just have a couple more questions. So
yeah.
One thing I'm interested to know is, if you could have any role, regardless of whether it's a female role, male role, if there was no stereotypes, no, you're too this, you're too that. If you could have any role in any musical or any play, what would you pick?
This question gets asked so many times, and I think anyone that's sort of like the hero or the heroine or is the underdog. I always love an underdog role. So, you know, like your Effie Whites, your Elphabas. This is weird, but probably Burrs in Wild Party, the Lipper version of Wild Party. I've always wanted to play quite a dark character. But I think there's so many varieties of roles. That's the thing, isn't it? It's kind of like sometimes I go, oh, this is my dream role, and I'm like, but is it? Like, there's so many roles. Like, you know, for a bigger guy like me, like, I'm thinking of the roles that are coming up, like, you know, Beetlejuice or Damien in Mean Girls or Olaf, or, you know, there's so many roles that you'd love to have a go at. But one, there's a lot of boys that are brilliantly talented. And so you just have to sort of wait your turn and wait and see if you're the right one for that role. But if it was a woman role, probably Effie White or Elphaba, because they're just legendary. Or even something like Mama Rose and Gypsy, because she's just camp. So, you know, why not, really? So, yeah.
Who wouldn't want to be suspended in midair singing Defying Gravity at the top of the
Listen, do you know what I mean? I'm all down to be painted green. Just give me the call.
Maybe one day we'll see John Montague in Waitress.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
I think one show I haven't spoken to you about yet is it Funny Girl? Is that is that the
Yeah,
right
yeah,
title?
there you go, yeah. Mhm.
So that was when were you in that role in that?
Now you're asking. I think it was 2015 to 2016. I think Funny Girl. I think I could
And
be wrong, but I think it was. Yeah, I think it was 215 to 216.
and tell us about sort of that role.
About Eddie.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, Eddie was pretty defined by what Lynn and so Michael Mayer and Lynn Page. Michael Mayer was the director, and Lynn Page was the choreographer. And I should mention a good mate of mine, Alan Williams, who is the musical supervisor. They kind of. I went into audition for the Ensemble Boys call. I remember ringing my agent and just said, well, I was a big fan of Sheridan Smith. I was a huge fan of hers. Like, I love 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps. It's one of my favorite programs. And when I heard that she was, and obviously I'd seen her do Elle in Legally Blonde, and I thought she was phenomenal. And I've always sort of followed Sheridan's career. And when I heard that she was doing Funny Girl, I rang my agent and just said, look, I really want to be seen for the show. I said, I don't know the show. I don't know what I could be in it, but I'd really just like to be seen for it. So my agent was like, okay, fine. So I went into the Ensemble Boys dance call, and I did the dance call, but all the boys were built very similar to what you would say is a generic dancer. Tall, slim, and there's me, like a rugby player in the middle of these ballet boys. But I did the dance combination, and Lynn Page sort of looked at me a lot, and I can't scream enough from the rooftops about Lynn, because she's been such a big supporter of me, and she's just the best person, one of the best people I've ever worked with. I adore her, and she kind of pushed me to be Eddie, because I think she saw a bigger guy that could dance just like the other boys. Then she found out that I could tap. And then, she kind of said, what is your thing? And I said, well, tap is my thing. And so she utilized that skill through the show. And I think that kind of helped me make a bit of a name in Funny Girl, next to, like Sheridan and Marilyn Cutts and the wonderful cast that we had there. So, yeah, well, working opposite Sheridan was amazing. I mean, to play her best friend was brilliant, and we became very close, and we still keep in touch now. And yeah, she was definitely someone that I learned a lot from. Yeah.
So we're all going through some pretty crazy stuff right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what sort of, you're doing a lot, like you're helping with, you're giving tap lessons to people, aren't you, on Instagram Live? I've seen that.
Yeah, so I do it actually, and now do it on my mum's dancing school Facebook Live, just because it's easier to save. Because obviously on Instagram Live you can't save, which is so frustrating, or I don't know how to anyway. I tried to, and it didn't work. But basically, yeah, I'm just doing free Tuesday Tap with Joel. If anyone's watching, they want to get their tap shoes on. It's kind of intermediate advanced, so it is quite tricky. But yeah, it's just something to keep me going, keep other people going, any West Enders or anyone that's that loves to tap, to keep them going. I think all of us are just trying to do stuff that make us happy, and that hopefully make other people happy and active and still going and positive.
Yeah. So I saw on your Instagram as well, you have, is it a company that you are, I forgot what it's called, is it Stage something?
So I've got, my company's called Curtain Call Productions, which are based in Crewe in Cheshire, and the other company's called Stage Productions, which I'm directing and choreographing Priscilla for. So Stage Productions are based in Stoke, which is run by a wonderful guy called Jonathan Cliff, and myself and the MD of the King and I tour, Malcolm Forbes Peckham, we run Curtain Call. So we're just doing, we're about to hopefully go back into rehearsals for We Will Rock You for our youth production, and then we are doing Shrek in March 2021.
And are you auditioning people for Shrek?
Yeah, we're auditioning people online. We're doing like self-tapes basically, because of obviously COVID-19. So we've said to everyone, they email in for a pack. We give them a pack, and then in their own time, they record a self-tape and send it to us.
And that's open to anyone, isn't is it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, anyone that's sort of near crew, it would be a sort of a bit pointless if you were in Carlisle and you were doing it, and I'd be like, that's great, but then you can't make any of the rehearsals. So
if
it would be
anyone
a
out there
bit.
that's near crew, check out.
Yeah.
Links
Anyone
Instagram,
in Cheshire or Staffordshire or Lancashire, would be able to probably come. So yeah.
So yeah, anyone that's around those areas, there's a link in
Yeah.
your Instagram, I think. Is that right?
Yeah. Check out it's Curtain Call Productions. You could just literally go online and it'll be there. But yeah, it's a really good company. I'm very, very proud of it. And we've had about 20 to 25 people when we start the company go to colleges, which I think is amazing. It's a great achievement. And I don't know if you know Joel Harper Jackson. He did a few with me before he kind of went on did amazing things, and Bree Smith and Genevieve Taylor and Ryan Bear Park, Jess Mullock. There's lots of them that have gone on to college and gone on further, so they're doing really well for themselves. I'm very, very proud of them all.
Okay. So I think I've taken up a lot of everyone's time, everyone watching at home.
No worries.
I think there's just one more thing I need to get you to do before. I need some of your Ogie voice. You need to talk to us as Ogie. Talk to everyone as Ogie.
Right. I got
I want Ogie's advice.
Yeah, I could talk as Ogie. He just bored in his house. He don't know what to do anymore. Yeah, I love everybody like a table. I love my Dawn. She's my most favorite human in the world. But yeah, Ogie's great. I miss him a lot. But yeah.
So do you have any more advice to anyone just before we finish that might be struggling, sitting at home, being like, oh, I'm so bored?
Yeah, I mean, boredom is down to, I definitely try and keep myself busy. So whether that's with the company, or whether it's like literally simple things as tidying my room or resorting shelves, or, doing anything like that. But also, if people do want to learn a new skill, or have never, I think anyone that's kind of had that thing of going, oh, I've always wanted to play the guitar, or I've always wanted to, I don't know, speak Italian or whatever. Well, now's the time to do it. Now is the time to actually seize that moment, and carpe diem, as they say, seize the day. So while we're all here, we might as well do that, hadn't we, Tom? Just learn new skills if we want to, but only if you want to. A lot of people say that, but it's only if only if you want to. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, you utilize your time wisely. So yeah, that would be my advice. But also to remain positive. Try and remain positive throughout the whole thing, because I think that's quite difficult in times like this when you're cooped up. You want to be thinking that there's an end game, and there will be.
That's some excellent advice. So thank you for letting me interview you. I hope that everyone has some fun watching this, and hopefully I'm going to have some more interviews coming up soon. I've got a few people planned, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But
absolutely.
Thank you, Joel, for letting me interview you.
Thanks, mate.
All right.
Bye.
See ya.